You have to overcome and know how to overcome being bullied by your wife. So what I would like to do is teach, how do you overcome being bullied by your wife? What are the steps? So the first way to overcome being bullied by your wife as a good man, this is critical. You have to know that you are a good man. What the emasculation and the gaslighting and the manipulation does to a good man is it causes him to question and lose sight of and not know if he's a good man or not. I have talked with more good men than not who, because of how they've been treated in the marriage by their wife and her woman ways, and it's so clear they're good men, they're gentle natured, they're hardworking, they're trying to do whatever they know to do to make things better. They always, when this is so fascinating to me, I don't think it will ever not be fascinating when I talk with a good man or I get an email or an application to talk about the course. He will share all the ways that his wife treats him poorly and what he doesn't know to do about in terms of what's going on in the marriage. And then they will always add something like, but she's a really compassionate and caring person. That's the nature of a good man, that in spite of how he's being treated and how his wife is showing up, he still sees the goodness in her or the potential. Blows my mind. And that's why I put in the thumbnail for today of we're lucky as women, we're lucky to be married to good men and in their nature to still see and want to see the good things, or still want to try to make the marriage work in spite of the awful ways that we can show up. So you have to be grounded in knowing yourself as a good man. It's the crack in your foundation of questioning that in yourself that allows your wife to emasculate you and gaslight you, to question that and to think that you're the problem in the marriage and the relationship. So you have to spend some time looking at, how do you show up with your kids? How do you show up at work? How do you show up with strangers? What's your intention in your marriage? What's the nature of who you know yourself to be? And really be connected to knowing yourself as a good man. Your wife can't bully you when you know you're a good person and you know you're a good man, because you can hear the things she's telling you about who you are. When you're grounded in knowing who you are and knowing you're a good man, you can know, no, that's not me. Doesn't mean a good man's perfect or doesn't make mistakes. But his intention isn't to be hurtful, and his intention isn't what we can make a good man feel in our accusations of them as women. The second step to overcome being bullied by your wife is you have to know the reality of the relationship, and you have to know the reality of your wife as a woman. That you can still, because it's your nature as a good man, still love and adore her in spite of the crazy making and emasculation and her poor behaviors and unwillingness to change. That's just the nature of a good man. In order to not be bullied and sucked into the gaslighting and manipulation and emasculation, you have to know the truth of your wife and her woman ways. You can, like I said, you can still love her and see the good things, but you also have to be in the reality of the nature of her and her woman ways to emasculate, gaslight, and manipulate you. When you don't see the reality of what's happening, that's when you doubt your own perception of reality and get sucked into it and believe that you are the problem and that there's somehow something you need to do or stop doing that's going to make her happy and change the relationship for the better. Because that's not going to happen. I would recommend going to watch Do I Need to Retire from Making My Wife Happy under the live section. That's the last live I did, to learn more about you. There's nothing you're going to do or stop doing that's going to make her happy or stop these behaviors in her. So you have to know the reality. This is who she is. She's not willing to change. These are the ways that she can show up and treat me and can make me feel really bad about myself. That's the reality. And when you know that, then that's where you can be grounded and again, not be bullied. The third step to overcome being bullied by your wife is you have to know the woman way of play. You have to assume, not in a pessimistic way, not in a doomsday way, but you have to assume and know that your wife, if she's unhappy and unwilling to work on herself and change, you have to assume she's always in a woman way that I talk about on the channel. Go watch any of my videos to learn more about her woman ways. You have to know she's always in a woman way and assume that so that you can learn to see it and anticipate it and not get blindsided by it. So a good word to encapsulate all the woman ways is what we're talking about today is bullying. You have to know your wife is a bully and her intentions and her woman ways. Here's your wife's intentions as a woman in her woman ways. She wants to overpower you. She wants to tear you down and pick you apart. She wants to intimidate you to get her way in what she wants. And she wants you weak and unable to stand up. And she wants to be in control at all times. Here's your wife's intentions in her woman ways as a bully. I'm going to say it one more time. She wants to overpower you. She wants to tear you down and pick you apart. She wants to intimidate you to get her way and what she wants. She wants you weak and unable to stand up to her. And she wants to be in control at all times. This is not, while it feels very personal and it is an attack on you, it's not a reflection of you and what you're doing or not doing. It's a reflection of your wife and how she feels about herself internally. It comes from our fear of being out of control and our deeply unhealthy relationship with ourselves and how we feel about ourselves that we don't want to look at, don't want to know, don't know what to do with. And so we take it out on our husbands. So men, this is the intention of what's happening. So when you're up against your wife and her being a bully and her woman ways, you need to know this is what's at play. So again, you can stay grounded in the reality and anticipate what's happening and know it and navigate it in a way to where you don't get sucked into it. The last step in overcoming being bullied by your wife, stop trying to make your wife happy and put that energy into making yourself happy. What that means is reconnecting with the things you used to like to do and enjoy doing before you weren't allowed by your wife to do those things anymore and she took over and took control. Reconnect with your hobbies. Reconnect with the things you enjoy doing. Go to the gym. Have guy time with your guy friends. Watch your football game. Watch your sports. Play a video game. You have to do the things that allow you to feel good about yourself and allow you to create a life so that you have a sense of fulfillment and meaning in yourself while navigating an unhappy marriage with an unhappy woman. And for a good man who has been emasculated and made to feel wrong and bad, it can feel very terrifying to stop putting that energy into trying to make your wife happy and put that energy into yourself and doing things for yourself. Because of what's the retaliation going to be from my wife? So here's the perspective you want to take. You're already in the doghouse. She's already unhappy. She's already upset. So you're not going to be more in the doghouse. She's not going to be angrier. She's just going to be angry and upset. It won't make her happy if you don't do these things. She's still going to be unhappy. So be okay. Learn to be, a phrase that I use from time to time in teaching is, learn to be comfortable in the uncomfortable of your wife being upset with you. It's not about you. She's unhappy and she's taking it out on you. So she's going to be unhappy. So you might as well take that energy that you're trying to put into her to make her happy, which isn't going to work, and put it into yourself and do the things you enjoy, regardless of if that makes her upset or not, because she's already upset. Let her be unhappy because she's unhappy and it's not your fault. You didn't make her unhappy. You have to start rethinking that if you're doing things to try to make your wife happy and she's just unhappy, it's like what I say, she's an empty bucket with holes. It's an abyss. It's an empty abyss. And when you throw your energy into that, it drains you. It sucks the life out of you. And that's where you're most susceptible and vulnerable to how she can crush you in those woman ways. When you put that energy into yourself and you accept she's going to be upset and angry anyway, so I might as well do this for myself so I can be my best. It rebuilds your sense of self. It makes you feel good about yourself. You regain your confidence. And that's what gives you the tenacity to navigate the marriage in a constructive way. So again, you can be in acceptance and content in your choice to stay. Stop putting your energy in the empty bucket with holes.